All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down one of the most common and, honestly, one of the most important parts of any job interview.
So you're sitting in the interview, and then you hear it. Tell me about your background. And your mind just goes blank, right? Where do you even start? Your childhood? That summer job you had? It can feel like a total trick question. But here's the thing. It's not a test you should be scared of. It's actually a huge opportunity. So let's dive right in. We're going to look at a model conversation to see exactly how you can turn this question into your secret weapon.
Okay, so let's set the scene here. We're talking about the background question. The interviewer's got your resume right there in front of them, but, they want to hear the story from you. This is where it all kicks off.
Now, they're not asking for your entire life story, right? They use specific words like brief overview, and that's a huge clue. What they're really doing is testing you. Can you be clear? Can you be concise? They want to see that right from the get-go.
All right, next up, crafting your brief overview. To really nail this answer, you've got to understand what they're actually asking for. So let's break down these key terms because they're super important.
Okay, so check this out. An overview is a quick summary, right? Just the most important stuff. Your background is your whole personal history. So think of it like this. Your overview is the movie trailer. It's not the whole movie. It just shows the best, most exciting parts of your professional background to get them hooked and wanting to know more.
So why start with an overview like this? Well, it shows you're clear and concise, which is huge. It totally respects the interviewer's time. And here's the best part. It lets them ask follow-up questions about what they find interesting. Suddenly, you're in control of the story. You're not just answering a question, you're guiding the whole conversation. It's a total power move.
And that's the goal, isn't it? To leave them feeling impressed. A really sharp, clear overview that hits all your key experiences, that's exactly how you do it. They'll be thinking, wow, okay, I'm impressed.
Next, describing your journey. So once you've given that great overview, the interviewer is going to want to dig in a little deeper. Let's look at some of the specific language you can use to talk about your personal history in a really effective way.
And look at this. This is the strategy in action. The interviewer latches on to one little detail from the overview, the part about moving to London at 16, and asks about it. This is perfect. This is exactly what you want to happen.
And pay close attention to the wording here. The phrase, to be educated, is a subtle but really powerful upgrade. Instead of just saying, I went to school, saying something like, I was educated in America, or I was educated at Harvard. It just sounds so much more formal and professional,
So the candidate keeps going, right? They talk about moving from the US to London, then to Saudi Arabia. And the interviewer uses this fantastic word to sum it all up. Adventurous. This is such a great example of how one simple word can completely reframe your experience. What could have sounded kind of unstable, all that moving around? It's now an exciting, adventurous childhood. It's all about how you frame it.
Okay, next section, phrases for fluent storytelling. Now let's zoom in on a few key phrases from this conversation that really help the story flow and honestly, just make you sound more professional. So the interviewer says this, right? Miss Childs passed on your resume to me, and I've had a chance to look it over. There are 2 phrasal verbs in there that are super, super useful in pretty much any professional setting. First up, pass on. It's simple, right? It just means to give something to someone else. It shows this clear transfer. Person 1 gets it, then they transfer it to person 2. Like a resume going from the recruiter to the hiring manager. Easy. And then you've got look it over, which just means to review something quickly. And from country to country, which is a great way to talk about moving between lots of similar places. Using phrases like these is awesome because they're efficient, they're natural, and they just show that you've got a really comfortable handle on the language. It makes you sound way more fluent. All right, our final section here, ready to settle down. This part is absolutely crucial. After you've told the story of your past, you have to connect it to your future. And most importantly, you have to connect it to the job you're sitting there trying to get. And this is a brilliant move. The candidate takes that adventurous background we just talked about and uses it to perfectly set up what she wants now.
So what does settle down really mean in an interview? It's all about commitment. It signals that you're looking for a long-term role, for stability. You're basically telling the employer, hey, I'm not just looking for another stop on my journey. I'm looking for a home. You're ready to invest in them for the long haul. That's powerful stuff.
I mean, think about it. This one single phrase completely reframes her entire story.
It takes a potential weakness, all that moving around, and turns it into a major strength. It tackles that unspoken concern an employer might have, about loyalty or being a flight risk, and turns it into the exact reason they should hire her now.
So let's put it all together. Your storytelling strategy really comes down to these 4 steps. Start with that brief overview. Use those precise, powerful words like educated and adventurous. Weave in those fluent phrases like pass on. And then you stick the landing by connecting your past to your future with a phrase like settle down. This isn't just some formula to memorize. It's a framework that puts you in control and helps you tell your story with some real punch.
Because that's what this is all about. Creating one single, powerful story. You don't want a random list of jobs and dates. You want one single, compelling narrative that leads right here, right to this specific job.
So if you prepare a clear structure and you use this kind of powerful language, you can walk into that interview and confidently tell a story that doesn't just answer the question, it leaves them truly impressed. So I'll leave you with this. Your background is your story. What's your headline?